Between the 1860s and 1890s, Tennessee prisons created a convict leasing program where prisons leased convicts, predominantly African Americans, to private companies. The goal was to help the state prisons support themselves financially. At that time, because of Tennessee's zebra laws, many men were in prison for even the smallest crimes, like stealing rail fence. Many felt like the system was unfair because of the extremely low wages that the prisons were working for, compared to the amount of manual labor they were forced to complete. In addition, most of the private companies were coal companies, and the work conditions were dangerous, especially during the winter. To make matters worse, convicts weren't even paid with real money. They were paid with scrips that were only accepted at the private company's stores. Also, they were punished in harsh, degrading ways. White miners got so fed up with the system that they started to revolt. In multiple incidents, they attacked the coal stockpiles and freed large groups of convicts. They enlisted the current governor of Tennessee, John P. Buchanan, for help, but he told them to just take it up with the courts. This only led to more revolts and attacks, causing this era to later be referred to as the Coal Creek War. This artifact shows how the leased convicts were paid. This artifact is an example of a scrip that could be only used at a coal company store, demonstrating the control that private companies had over these convicts. Despite being convicts of the state, they were answering to private companies and subject to whatever harsh treatment that those companies saw fit. Miners continued fighting against the system by staging more attacks on the stockpiles and trying other strategies to free convicts. The system was eventually overturned in 1893 when it became unprofitable for the private companies. However, these unjust practices will live in Tennessee's history forever. These events demonstrated a clash between classes and an abuse of power by private companies. During this time of Reconstruction, African Americans were still poorly treated. As these white miners tried to end this unjust system, it demonstrated how working class men of both races teamed up against the upper class. This whole exhibit shows how this was a time of political and social change in Tennessee. Many were grappling with the role of African Americans, and this artifact shows how the state still figured out ways to treat them unjustly. These convicts may have been freed from slavery, but not from similar practices. If you want to learn more, check out the Tennessee Encyclopedia. Beyond Anderson County, which is focused on in this exhibit, you can learn about other counties along Coal Creek that participated in this leasing system. You can also learn about specific dates of revolts